We don't know what we're talking about today, do we?
Yeah, we're going to talk about arguments.
Arguments. All right. Hello, welcome to 10 Years and Counting. And I'm Isabella.
Travion.
And today we'll be talking about healthy ways to argue. Or good ways to have an argument.
The right way to argue.
Right.
Yeah.
The right way to have an argument. So I guess the big thing is arguments in a relationship are really unavoidable. I mean, especially when you've been in a long relationship, you're going to have differences and you're not always going to get along. Especially if you live with each other and you're around each other all the time. Sometimes people get on your nerves.
Yeah, like you.
But, you know, you talk through those things and move past them, and that makes you stronger at the end of the day. You don't want to say nothing?
Oh, basically, you're going to have disagreements. Everyone's not the same, especially us. We're very different people. But the important thing is that when you argue, make sure you get to a solution, no matter how long it takes. It doesn't matter if you cry, it doesn't matter if she cries. Eventually, you need to get to a solution and try to fix it, because that's the only way you're going to stop arguing about the same thing over and over again. And I know a lot of people have the problem,
cycle.
Yeah, of arguing about the same thing over and over again. So that's the best thing to do is keep talking until you find a solution.
Because a lot of people in relationships, they have an argument about something and then they just avoid it, you know, until it's unavoidable, and then there's an explosion of emotions about the same argument that you continuously have, and then it goes nowhere, and then it's going to continue to come back up. So nothing's going to be fixed if you don't bring it up to your partner or whatever and have that conversation, even though it might be hard or difficult or not something that you really want to do, because some people don't like conflict.
Yeah.
You know, me personally, I don't really care about having conflict. Like, I feel like it helps ultimately, but there's a positive way to have that talk without it being like, I don't know what's the term I'm thinking of, but like a fight. You don't make it a fight necessarily.
Yeah, you can talk normal when you argue.
Yeah.
You don't have to yell at each other. And if you think you're trying to get to that point that you need to yell at someone, I feel like you just need to walk away, calm your feelings, and then go back and keep talking until you find that solution. So
yeah. And personally, as a woman, I know it can be I don't know, personally for me, it's challenging, because when I get upset, I tend to yell or like over analyze the situation, or, you know, get upset quickly. So I think a lot of times he's good that we are different. Like, you step back from situation and he takes time to process it. And sometimes I think it as like, oh, you're ignoring me, which pisses me off more, you know. But ultimately, I know he's just doing that so he doesn't say something that he regrets, which I appreciate, because sometimes I do say things that I regret and then I have to apologize later.
yeah, I mean, people have their flaws. People are gonna, you know, do things that you might not like, but just know that they're just in their feelings, I guess.
Yeah, it's like in the moment kind of situation.
Yeah.
But ultimately, like, we always come back and we talk about it, like, as adults, and have that conversation and try to see how we can understand each other's points better, so that we know why the argument happened and what each of us can do to make it better. Because most arguments or problems in a relationship aren't one-sided. There's always something that the other person can do to
Compromise.
help. Yeah.
Compromise.
Definitely.
And then sometimes, you know, maybe one person has to sacrifice something that they don't necessarily agree with, but it's the best solution that y'all can come up with. So
yeah.
sometimes you have to compromise, sometimes you have to make sacrifices.
Yeah.
It just
Because
depends.
ultimately, a relationship, like, you're never going to find someone who has everything that you want, or you're never going to argue about something. Even if you're so similar, you're going to have conflict. So I just feel like knowing how to work through those things is what's going to you're going to keep a healthy, long-lasting relationship.
Yeah.
So.
When was the
So,
last argument we had?
I don't know. Well, I guess a little bit before Christmas.
What was the arguing about?
um, what were we arguing about? I really don't remember what the argument was about. It got like so. I don't know.
But what was our solution?
Well, I feel like the argument was just about like how he made me feel about something. Like a lot of times, like you make me feel a certain way, and you think it's more of like me making me feel that way, and not letting you control my emotions as much. So sometimes it's just that him communicating better to me about what's going on, because he wanted me to leave him alone because he was upset. That's what it was. Like you were just not having he wasn't having a good day, and he wanted to be left alone. And me, as like I'm a very nurturing caregiver type person, so if something's wrong with someone, especially if someone I care about, like I want to help them and come to a solution. But Trayvion's very like, he needs time to himself first and then he'll address it, you know. But for me, I thought he was upset with me and I didn't know what I did wrong. So I feel like I pushed it, and I pushed it too far, and then that made him in turn mad at me, when ultimately that's not what the problem was.
Yeah.
So our solution was for him to tell me a little brief of like, this is what's going on. I need my space right now. I'm not upset with you, and leave it at that. And for me not to pressure him for more information until he's ready to talk about it.
Yeah.
Just kind of allowing him to have that space, because that's what he needs. So I have to try to learn how to accept that, because when I'm upset, I'm not the type of person who, needs space or whatever. Sometimes it depends on the situation, but typically that's not what I do. So it's sometimes it's hard to comprehend how someone else copes or processes situations, because it's not the way you think.
Yeah. I mean, and that's a good example of compromising. She gets to, know what's wrong with me briefly, and I was okay with letting her know quickly that it's not about you and I just need my time. And I also get what I want by being left alone for a little while and deal with my own situation. So that's a good example of compromising. So
Yeah. So if you guys have any questions for us, you can leave them down below, and we'll give back responses about relationships, or maybe conflicts that you haven't been able to resolve in your relationships.
yeah.
So.
We can give pretty good advice. We've been together for almost 10 years now, and I'm not saying we're the best people to do it. I mean,
Definitely not.
we're young, but we know a lot of shit. I've been through a lot of shit.
Yeah. I mean, we went through a lot together, so I
Yeah.
feel like that makes us stronger, and I don't feel like there's a lot of things in life that we can't work through, like, together,
Yeah.
And I feel like at the end of the day, you just need somebody there for you that you know is going to work through anything with, because you don't know what's going to happen in this life. You really don't. All right. Well, thanks for joining us. Have a nice day.
Peace.
Peace. We're so goofy.